Sean Paul Blu Cantrell. Remix, I go make them head swell, yo. Yo, hey, yo, boom. Yo, hey, yo, dirty. So what's that supposed to be about, baby?
Hey BookTube, it's Angie. Since I know there's a lot of readathons and things going on right now, I thought I would do a video just on a couple of breather reads I had recently. They're really quick, really fun, take like an hour to get through, and they're pretty good for when you just need an in-between between heavier stuff. So the first one, I got this with the number of books I just showed in my most recent book haul, but I already read it, so I figured I would just do it in this video. And that is The Modern Family, Wit and Wisdom from America's Favorite Family. And this is put together by the writers of Modern Family. If you're not familiar, that's a show on ABC network. Oh, okay, so let me try to see if I can explain the family tree on this show, because it's kind of crazy. Okay. So the family tree in this show starts with Jay, and he's married to Gloria, who is considerably younger than him. I believe she's from Peru. And then Jay has a son, Mitchell, who's gay and in a relationship with Cameron. But Mitchell and Cameron adopt a daughter, I believe, from Korea. And then I think on the other side of the family tree is, there's her name, Sally, I think her name is. I believe she's Jay's daughter. And then she's married to Phil. And then they have 2 daughters and a son. I believe that's everybody on this show. Oh, and then Mitchell and Cameron also adopt a son. I believe is, I forget about the son. I believe he's of Asian descent, but he was adopted in the U.S., I believe. I don't watch the show religiously, but every time I do see an episode of it, there's always something there that cracks me up. So I do like some of the stuff they bring up on the show. So when I saw this, I picked it up because I figured it would be a good addition to either my humor or my Hollywood collection. So I thought I would just share some of my favorite parts in this. This is basically just a collection of some of the really funny or poignant lines that were brought up on the show, and it's divided up between the characters. So there's something for whoever your favorite character is on the show. There's something from everybody. I was thinking her name was Sally for some reason. That's Claire. Claire is, I believe she is Jay's daughter. But there's a thing here where they show Claire and Phil, husband and wife, and Claire says, "Well, that sounds innocent enough. I mean, drinks with an old girlfriend at an intimate French restaurant." And Phil replies, "Honey, you're doing that thing again where you say what I want you to say, but the way you say it seems really mean." This one just kind of made me go, "Aw." This is Claire feeling really frustrated, and she says, "Sometimes I think my job is to just make sure you guys don't fall on your face." And Phil replies, "That's a hard job in the Dunphy family. We fall down a lot." She says, "I know." And he said, "Well, maybe your real job is to be the person who picks us back up, because nobody does it better than you." Like, Phil's the man on that show, man. He has just the right answer for everything. And this one cracked me up because it reminded me of my own husband. He said, "I called the florist and ordered 1 dozen Mylar balloons, so good luck staying mad at me, honey." I tagged a lot of the ones with Phil and Claire just because Phil and Claire are like the funniest couple together. So are Mitchell and Cameron, but Phil and Claire, I guess because they remind me of my own relationship, the stuff they say, it cracks me up. So Phil says, "Yeah, our kids walked in on us. We were, as they say, having sex." And Claire says, "That's not a euphemism, Phil. It's exactly what we were doing, having sex in front of our children." Phil says, "Well, they weren't there when we started." And she said, "No." And he said, "In fact, you weren't even there when we started." Married joke. This one, because I grew up in California, I thought was really funny. It says, "Why do I even need to learn Spanish? I live in California. I'm never going to use it." Which, if you've grown up in California, is one of those funny because it's true. Strangely enough, you can grow up in California and not use Spanish that much. I mean, I still learned it when I was growing up, and I am not very good at speaking it, but California, at least Southern California kids, we may not learn to speak it perfectly, but a lot of us, we grow up being able to read it because it is taught in our school system. But I thought that was funny. I'm not going to use it. And then it just made me another aw moment. This is a picture of Mitchell and Cameron at the very end, and it says, "You think the dreamers would find the dreamers and the realists would find the realists, but more often than not, the opposite is true." Well, that was a perfect thing to end it on. So yeah, if you're a fan of the show, this is a really cute book. As far as like the way it's put together, it's not super fancy. I think they like printed it on newsprint or something, so there's no like full color photos or anything, but just to have a collection of some of the really funny stuff they've said on the show is really cute. So yeah, good breather. And then I thought I would talk about this one I had mentioned before. This is the Forgotten Bookmarks book by Michael Popek. And Michael Popek was, I don't know if he still is, but he was a bookseller. He was running, I think he started online and then he opened up a brick and mortar shop later. He was finding all this curious stuff and all these books that were being donated to his shop, and he started it as a blog where he documented all these kind of odd and interesting things he was finding stuck in the middle of books he had donated, and from the blog it turned into this book. Some of the ones, I think a couple in this book, or at least a couple of the ones I saw, maybe more, are ones that it looks like people might have submitted on his blog because he gives them photo credit. A couple of the ones that caught my attention, thought this was kind of cute. Somebody had submitted, it was a copy of, it looks like a school textbook, and it's a copy of Riverside Shakespeare, and there's a sign that says emergency exit lift handle to open. He noted it's a metal sign, looks like one of the ones you'd see on school buses. So you just picture some kid sitting at the back of the bus next to the emergency exit, and they just remove this for whatever reason and stick it in the middle of their textbook and then forget it's in there. Well, kind of interesting. One of the other ones that looks like it was submitted on his website, this is interesting, but it kind of creeped me out. It was found in Elements of Mechanics and Machine Design by Eric Oberg. You open it up and that's what was in there, and you're like, what the hell is that? And it says it's a Sensation brand hairnet made from natural medium brown human hair. That was just, I'm not gonna lie, that would creep me out a little bit. I don't know, it's just weird to have a hairnet made out of actual hair. It looks like a really old spider web or something. I don't know, it made me wonder, like, is it like used and stuck back in there? Seeing that, it kind of reminded me of years ago, I used to work for a number of years for this homeless shelter in town, and a lot of people would submit stuff to we had sort of like a donation store downstairs where homeless people could come in and get new clothes if they wanted to get, if they were going for a job interview or just needed new clothes or items and whatnot, and it was all just donations, but somebody had to go through all the donations to make sure they were clean and repaired and everything, and that was my job a lot of times, was to go down there and sort all the stuff, because in my family and in my work I've done, I have a pretty good reputation for being like the person who does the obsessive organizing and list making and categorizing. So yeah, that job was always left to me at work. I worked there, and I used to pick up some weird things. I found like sometimes they would submit books and things to our library we had there, and I would find like condom wrappers and razor blades and stuff stuck inside books, and quickly learned not to touch anything without gloves, because never knew what I was going to pull out. Anyway, I thought I would mention this because I thought it was kind of cool. If you watch Denise Cooper's channel, which if you don't, you should, because she does a lot of really fun videos, and she has a really sweet, engaging personality on her videos, so definitely go check her out. I will link her down below. But on her channel, a number of times she's mentioned this book, Soul on Ice by Eldridge Cleaver, and it's actually mentioned in this book. Someone had donated a copy to Popek's store, and there was a bookmark. It was a cold beer sign, like an actual metallic sign was stuck in there and used as a bookmark, which I thought it was kind of funny. It was like metallic. It was a metal cold beer sign stuck in Soul on Ice. So this little funny tidbit. Okay, some of the other memorable ones to me that stood out was there was a letter in here from a World War II soldier to his family, where in the letter he says, or I expect to be pushing up daisies before summer is over, but then he backtracked real quick and says, but I try to be optimistic for Mom. Which kind of made me sad when I read that, because, you know, and then I wanted to know if he actually made it back home. And then there was another one from a World War I soldier that cracked me up, because he writes this letter to his mom that's basically saying, you know, I told you I wanted to get married, but you haven't given me your blessing, you haven't written back, and, you know, I love her, I'm gonna get married anyway, but I'd rather have your blessing, and, oh, if you could send me $50, but if you don't, that's okay, because, you know, that's alright, I'll figure out something, but you may want to get in contact with me, because you never know when I'm gonna die. You know, it's just this really weird tone to this letter. It's like, alright. Kind of funny, but a little bit of an odd letter to be writing to your mom. So there was that one, and there was a 1916 postcard where a woman had mentioned attending a conference where, I think it was William J. Jennings Bryant had been at this conference speaking on the suffragette movement that was getting going. For those not aware, William Jennings Bryant was I think he was the 41st Secretary of State for the U.S. You know, looking through these letters, it just kind of, some of them kind of brought home the fact that even back then, because a lot of these date like World War II or earlier. Some of them are more recent, but a lot of them are either World War II or earlier. And you look at the letters and stuff, and you see even back in the day, there was this rampant habit of using unnecessary quotation marks or air quotes. So that was really funny. But then I thought I would show you some of the other ones that were cool that stood out. Thought this was interesting. It's a handmade invitation. It's on the invitation, it says, hear ye, at 7:30 prompt on Wednesday evening, be prepared to meet your doom. You are to be dressed in the following manner, and woe betide you if even the smallest point is neglected. Have your hair curled in 12 curls, each tied at the top with a wrapping cord. Wear your jeweled dog collar. On your right foot wear a tan stocking and a black shoe. On your left foot wear a black stocking and a tan shoe. Wear a white petticoat which is exactly 2 7/8 inches longer than your dress shirt. Wear a white waist, blue shirt, and red belt. Have a man's red handkerchief pinned to one corner of your belt. Suspended by a cord, wear our society emblem, the skull and crossbones, around your neck. And be prepared to sing, oh, where is my little dog gone? And where is my wandering boy tonight? Mum is the word. You will be called for at 7:30 Wednesday, October 12th, 1910. And that was found in the Aeneid of Virgil. And I just thought it was interesting, since they mentioned skull and crossbones. I'm wondering if this was like a handwritten invitation for like a fraternity hazing or initiation thing. So I don't know. I thought that was kind of bizarre. They have one in here that said it was found in a 1890 edition of the White House Cookbook. There's a pledge that says, we the undersigned solemnly promise, God being our helper, to abstain from the use of intoxicating liquors as a beverage. And if you look at it, all the people on the list have the same last name, so I'm wondering if it was like siblings who maybe had a secret party and then got caught by their mom or something and then had to sign this. But yeah, that phrase, intoxicating liquors as a beverage, kind of struck me as funny because I'm quite a fan of intoxicating liquors as a beverage. I find them quite helpful some days. I thought this was interesting. He found one that it was found in a copy of the 1879 Holy Bible. Someone had written a Bible verse on a piece of birch bark. And then this cracked me up. In a copy of Margaret Atwood's Blind Assassin, there was this little strip of paper, and it was from 2002, and it says, "This appears to be an employee's list of complaints to her boss," and it just says, "After consistently working 52 hours, 48, 43 at the least, hours get cut to 40 with no overtime. Cassie's coming back, black ass comment, coon hunting." So I was like, what was going on at that workplace? But whatever happened, I hope she gave it a lot of hell for that. Best of luck to you, girl. Hope you got that straightened out. This one this was one of the more poignant ones. This one made me kind of sad. In a copy of Cutting, Understanding, and Overcoming Self-Mutilation by Stephen Levincron, someone had stuck a prayer for my daughter. And there was one, it's a poem written by William Butler Yeats, and there's one stanza in the poem. It says, "I have walked and prayed for this young child an hour, and heard the sea wind scream upon the tower, and under the arches of the bridge and scream in the elms above the flooded stream, imagining in excited reverie that the future years had come, dancing to a frenzied drum out of the murderous innocence of the sea." And it has the whole poem in here, which was pretty powerful, but to find that stuck in a book about cutting was just really sad. This one's another funny one. It was found in a book called Our Girls, Stories and Rhymes for Home, School, and Kindergarten. And it says, a short handwritten recitation called How to Be Good. And it looks like something some children had written up as like a performance piece to do for their parents. And it says, "We children three, a happy band, before our friends assembled stand, to thank our Father for this sight and for this pleasant Christmas night." And then each kid got a different saying. And Walter says, "I am the oldest as you see, and I must an example be, must strive to do things that I'm told, and for the truth be firm and bold. In patience I must bear with brother, teach him love and care for mother, befriend a little sister here, and love and pray for father dear." And, and the part that cracked me up was, I guess it's the middle child, Eugene. He just gets a line strike through, like, "Eugene, you can just wing it, whatever you want to say. We're not writing a script for you." And it just made me think of like middle child syndrome. I can't think of anything for Eugene today. Just whatever. Shut up, Meg. Then Jenny, I'm guessing the baby of the family, comes in. It says, "I am a very little child, and sometimes I am very wild. I do not do the things I'm taught, nor love the Savior as I ought. But I will ask him when I pray to take my naughty thoughts away, and make loving good and mild, and fit to be his holy child." I thought that was just really cute. Poor Eugene. This one was, since Valentine's Day is coming up, I thought this was really cute. It was found in the New Wonder Book of Knowledge, and it's a Valentine done on a placemat from a restaurant. And the placemat says Green's Grill, best foods. And on the back, this, I'm guessing Ted, in asterisks it says, had drawn this heart with arrows going through it, and it said, "To my Valentine, I ain't so good at saying things, I ain't so good at art, but if you accept this Valentine, then you'll accept my heart." And that was another thing that reminded me of my own husband, because he's, if any of you are also married to firefighters, you know that they're not always the most overtly romantic bunch, probably given to what they have to do every day. But he does have spurts where he will surprise you with things just completely out of the blue, and that's totally worth it. But that reminded me of something he would do where he would just like randomly draw something or just, you know, throw a phrase out there or something when you least expect it. And then this was another funny one. Found in Sex Without Guilt by Albert Ellis, there was a card that said, "Today is the first day of the rest of your life." Like, today you get to learn how to have sex without guilt. It's a good day. And then this is another one I thought was kind of funny, but kind of like, oh, poor girl. This was found in Our Family Physician from 1885. There is a wrapper for vermifuge, and the wrapper said, "This celebrated vermifuge is purely vegetable. It is proven in all cases a safe and most certain remedy for worms. Has a very pleasant taste, and no child will refuse to take it." So, unfortunately, somebody's kids back in the day apparently had a rampant case of worms. And I didn't even know they had tablets or powder or whatever this is supposed to be for that kind of thing. But, oh, mothers, things you guys got to deal with in your house. So, yeah, there's a lot of cute stuff in here. There's a lot of poignant things too. Not all of the things in this book are super amazing, but there's enough to make a lot of book nerds smile and curious and make you think about the people that put the stuff in there, or, you know, especially the letters kind of makes you wonder how their situations might have turned out. So it's just a cute little breather book for book nerds, or if you are looking for a gift for book nerds, this would be a cute addition. So yeah, I just thought I would bring these up, considering all the readathons going on and the reading challenges. It's good to have just, you know, just sort of good, clean, fun reads that don't take a lot of mental dedication. They're just entertaining. So that's what I got for you this time around. Still having a little bit of brain fog right now, so I'm doing the best I can, but yeah, we'll see you in the next video, guys. Thanks for watching this far. Bye.